Tom, that's what happened to them at Texas A&M. Gave up 25 offensive rebounds. They've got to tighten up that end of the floor.
They scored 92 and lost. At its essence, this is elite offense against elite defense, and offense wins on the first possession as Antonio Reeves puts it in.
Yeah, it is not easy to get inside or downhill against Mississippi State. They are tough on the ball. They are hard in the gaps. Physical, forceful drive by Reeves.
Tolu Smith is a great driver for a big man, and he picks up an assist in the first play to Shaquille Moore.
Yeah, Tolu Smith can pass that ball now. Really good vision for a kid that size.
Starting five for Kentucky. Cats are 5-1 with this lineup. We will see some super subs in this game, by the way, so don't pay too much attention to who starts, but it's who finishes. You probably know about Dillingham and Shepard off the bench for the Cats. And Mississippi State has one of the best bench players in the country in Josh Hubbard. Only the third time this starting five has been on the floor for State. Nobody picks up Jeffries. Got all the way down Broadway for the layup.
Tom, how can that happen? I mean, just an easy advance of the ball. He wasn't even bringing it with speed, but I mean, read the defense, take what it gives you, and it's an easy rim shot.
Freshman point guard DJ Wagner coming off of an 18-point performance. Got the screen from Bradshaw. Kentucky a little out of sorts on this possession. Here's Edwards to Reeves. Kentucky was loaded with assists in the loss Saturday at A&M, and they're starting off on the right foot in that department again.
Well, Reeves made 5 threes at A&M. Because he's 6'6" and a very quick release, he can make guarded threes on the perimeter as good as anybody in this league.
Besides Tolu Smith, who should we watch for on the State offensive side?
Yeah, when Josh Hubbard checks in, to your point, because he is a game changer. That action right there for Mississippi State has been good to them, Tom. They run that open corner and get Tolu Smith rolling to the rim. He's very good on the catch for a 6'11" kid. And that's the game changer, Josh Hubbard, that you've talked about. If you're Kentucky, you have to fight Tolu Smith and no Hubbard threes when this young man checks in.
It's a first on Aaron Bradshaw. Foul trouble was an issue for him. He only played 6 minutes in the loss at A&M. A miss from point blank. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, they got lucky. Kentucky did. Not physical enough at all with Tolu Smith on the roll.
Reeves has off 5 for Kentucky early. Ooh, little slow pass from Edwards. Here's Bradshaw for 3. And a foul on the glass is going against Deshaun Davis in Mississippi State.
You will take that foul, though, if you're Chris Jans, because you are sending the message and setting the rules how this game's going to be played. Mississippi State is a hit first, find the ball second, defensive rebounding team.
And they're sensational in the half court under Jans. They're 9th in the country in defensive efficiency, according to KenPom. They've got an elite three-point percentage defense as well, which will certainly come into play against Kentucky shooters. Here's Wagner with a hand in his face. Big-time three for DJ Wagner.
Tom, his confidence, his game is starting to grow because he can get downhill and in the lane anytime he wants. That three-point shot now right around 32%.
Matthews picked up his dribble. Bradshaw gets on the floor for it. Reeves. Good transition defense by State. And now Wagner with the floater. And the rebound pulled down by Shaquille Moore. Mississippi State coming off of a tough loss Saturday against Alabama. They got outrun by Bama. Bama had all 18 fast break points in that game. They also struggled from the free throw line. They missed their last 6 in a game that came down to the wire.
Well, to your point, the guys in maroon very good in transition defense, building the wall early in this one.
It took a victory lap but fell out. Cats 2 for 4 from deep.
Tom, you've got to secure the paint against Kentucky in your transition defense, but man, they put pressure on you with those shooters on the perimeter, almost begging you to come out of that paint too early.
Jeffries, beautiful pass. Matthews couldn't find the flush, and here comes Reeves. 2-on-1. And the lob to Edwards when he wasn't expecting it.
Oh, that was a mess.
Kind of like the roads through the Commonwealth, huh? A little dicey this week and more bad weather coming. Push ahead to Reeves. Good crossover. And then lost it out of bounds. 8-5 lead for Kentucky early on against Mississippi State. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by H&R Block.
The 70-point mark 11 times in 50 games under Chris Jans. Man, that's the consistency and the accountability that this guy has brought to the SEC.
He's the 5th winningest coach in active college basketball by win percentage. John Calipari, the Hall of Famer, is number 4. Mitchell off the feed from Shepard. First bucket for Trey Mitchell.
Mitchell with a good, hard scoring cut. Reed Shepard checks in, only took 5 shots at A&M. They've got to get Reed Shepard more shots. Cal talked about it in his pregame radio show.
Bob Dillingham also checks into super subs for the Cats. Jeffries turns the corner. And it's rejected by Ungana Onyenso. 5 blocks against A&M on Saturday for Onyenso. And Mississippi State with the takeaway. It's Cameron Matthews. Here's Hubbard, the top scorer off the bench among major conference players in all of college basketball. Josh Hubbard, the freshman, gives him 15 a game.
Tommy's a small kid, 5'11", but he squeezes off 8 3-point shots per game.
Well, he is not shy, is he?
He's the all-time leading scorer right in the state of Mississippi by a long margin, but he is a game changer. The 2 keys for Kentucky: you have to fight Tolu Smith on the block, and you cannot let this kid get 8 shots off from that 3-point line tonight.
He's been in double figures all but 2 games this season. Shot clock at 5. Smith had it stripped away. 3-on-2 for the Cats. Here's Shepard. And a skip pass to Reeves for 3. What a look by Shepard.
Yeah, what a smart pass by Shepard, because everybody else thought the ball was going to go to the middle of the floor. Reed Shepard sees the game different than most, finds the backside bomb.
It's now an 11-0 Kentucky run. And then Shepard with the steal, snuck up on Tolu Smith. Reeves, 13-0 Kentucky run.
And the live ball turnovers will get Chris Jans to call a timeout. You just can't do it. Reed Shepard with back-to-back.
State only has 1 win in the last 18 matchups with Kentucky. Came in the SEC tournament a couple of years ago. They got to figure something out and figure it out fast. It's Hubbard. That's the answer. And the transition 3 skips out.
The gamble of pressing Mississippi State is that kid getting loose in transition for 3s.
Good swing. And a 3 from the other side from Sean Jones Jr., 31% three-point shooter.
Sean, what's your name again?
I don't even know my name.
Well, they only make 6 a game, Mississippi State, so that's a good start for the 3-ball from this team from Starkville.
Here's Hubbard. And a good ball movement. Jones again.
Yeah.
Got it.
Tom, it all started, though, with the attention of Hubbard. He got 2 guys on him because of the shot threat, and he gives it up and 1 more to the corner 3. And Josh Hubbard, man, has changed this game as we said he would, and Cal knows it.
Then they relaxed. They lost at Washington State this weekend. They got USC, and a struggling Trojans team, which has lost 4 out of 8. That's tonight at the McHale Center, 10 o'clock Eastern, over on ESPN.
And there's this changing defense by Mississippi State. It's a 3-quarter court 1-3-1, and then they'll drop to straight man or 2-3 and then to a man. Very clever and very good at confusing your guards.
Off the feed from Mitchell, who kept it alive but rebounded by State.
And you box off Kentucky, you have to box off and back out, because that length, man, they'll tip it out over the top of you really well.
Kentucky has really struggled defending at the rim, and there's a travel and a Mississippi State giveaway from Jimmy Bell Jr.
Tom, they struggle defending at the rim because they struggle guarding the ball. And I said it in the open, you can't guard the ball, you can't guard the glass, you get in rotation, and Kentucky has to get better in that area. Big point of emphasis the last 2 days.
State is +2 on the glass here early in this one. Rob Dillingham to Mitchell. What an elite passer Mitchell is. Had a layup, kicked it out for a 3. Got it.
Pretty good decision by Mitchell. You're right, though, because he turned down what looked like a pretty good 2 to me. And Dillingham, man, he snaps that thing off with conviction, does he not?
Here's Matthews. You know, there is no doubting Kentucky's talent. And all the guys that are going to be in the NBA and make a lot of money for years and years, Trey Mitchell might be the most important player on the floor for this Cats team.
He is their glue.
Hubbard from the corner.
He is. Dalton Connect was ripping rope last night, and this kid's capable of doing it here in Rupp. And his explosion off the floor is so fast for a small guard. if you have it, man, you can get some good looks.
26 in the country, 4th in major conference basketball. He takes 33% of the shots when he's on the floor. Bradshaw fouled after the offensive rebound by Cameron Matthews.
This is the type of team that Cal has talked to his guys about from day one. We're going to run into some grown men that will turn it into a backyard brawl, slugfest, body blow game. Can this young Kentucky team handle this? Because waiting down the line is a physical Tennessee team, a very physical South Carolina team, a physical Auburn, Ole Miss. The list goes on in this league.
Cats have struggled with that Dillingham foul, and they've struggled slowing down guards. Wade Taylor IV at 31. Boots Radford at 28 in that A&M game. Quan Scott commits the foul.
Tom, this is a unique free throw style by Rob Dillingham. He shoots just a little mini jump shot on his free throw. I watched it last Tuesday when I was here. Went back and watched the film, but just a little hop. I mean, that's uncommon. That's not the natural free throw shot that you see from guys, but he's very consistent with it.
It must take thousands of reps to have the consistency while doing it.
Well, because you want that, if you're going to jump, that jump has to be the same every time. Otherwise, it can really throw you off, and he has mastered it.
Team rebound for Kentucky. We got a lot of bills to pay. This is the under-12 timeout. Cats lead by 8. Back to Lex in a moment. 2024 John R. Wooden Award, the Legends of Coaching honor. Selection based on character, success in the court, graduation rate of student athletes, and coaching philosophy. He's a Hall of Famer, 3-time National Coach of the Year.
Tom, Cal has his swagger back. This team has their swagger back. Big Blue Nation has their swagger back. And this is a team that has re-energized John Calipari. He knows he's got a squad that can make major noise in March.
Dillingham off the window.
So good are those Kentucky guards at the floater game. It's all of them. It's he, Reeves, Wagner. They work on it consistently.
You mentioned that Cal has been pushing for Reed Sheppard to get up more shots. That's not a request he needs to make to Rob Dillingham.
No, it is not.
Here's Hubbard. Don't have to tell this kid twice either.
Yeah.
And we got a foul on the wing that's going to go against Hubbard.
Kentucky puts that ball on you so fast, man, in transition defense. It's the combination of speed and shot makers that put a lot of stress on you in your conversion defense and spacing. It's all three of those, Tom, is what equates to the speed of Kentucky.
It's something that defensively is reflected on higher point totals for their opposition. But talking with the coaching staff, they said, listen, we know we're going to give teams 10 more possessions than they normally have. Challenge is to be more efficient. Wagner with a step through. What a play.
I'm not sure there's a better guard in this league at making hard, difficult rim shots than Wagner.
State just 5 for 14 to start this game. Here's Jimmy Bell, size advantage on Bradshaw, and he just simply backed him down.
Yeah, Bradshaw, former tackle. Bradshaw needs help on that. He's outweighed by what, 50, 60 pounds?
Edwards lost it on the drive. Yeah, Jimmy Bell Jr. was a standout high school football player on the offensive line growing up in Saginaw, Michigan, before basketball took over. And he still has NFL scouts drooling with his potential playing tackle. Here's Scott, long 2. Offensive board, they lost it. Cats with a chance to push. Dillingham to Edwards. Dillingham knew it wasn't the perfect shot, but he also knew Edwards was there to clean it up.
Absolutely, Edwards. That has to be his game, man. A dog defender, just make plays, don't run plays for him. And the speed of Kentucky, those live ball turnovers are killers right now for the team from Starkville.
State came in 12-4. They've lost 2 out of their last 3 after another good start. Remember, Chris Jans started his Mississippi State career last year 11-0.
Now they come with double on Bell. They have to. Good job by Edwards to recognize it.
Bell fighting for it. Pulled out of there by Bradshaw.
Kentucky faster to the ball so far in this game.
Here's Dillingham in the paint and going to the line. Foul charge to Sean Jones Jr.
Kentucky a better job so far in this game of squaring people up and very active with their hands. They have won 90% of the 50-50 balls in this game. And to your point about Dillingham, that's just knowing that Edwards is coming to get it up on the glass. Edwards comes in to clean it up on the left side.
Dillingham has another one coming. He's from Overtime Elite. Cats already have another commitment from Overtime Elite and one more in the hopper. Line changes for both sides, 3 subs each. And one more coming for Dillingham. He had 15 on 3 of 10 from deep against Texas A&M. There's this push-pull, right, with Rob Dillingham, especially late in the game and his shot selection. Every time you think maybe that's not a great shot, he has the potential to rip off 3 in a row like he did against the Aggies.
Well, he's a closeout guard is what he is. And he can miss 7 or 8 in a row and then come in with 3 minutes to go and shoot you right back into the game. That's what I like about this Kentucky team. Those guards, man, multiple guys shoot it with conviction.
Great shot by Deshaun Davis. He was scoreless in the game at Coleman Coliseum against Alabama. Pardon me, game at home against Alabama. What a great crowd they had at the renovated Hump on Saturday. Sellout. Didn't help them with their free throw shooting. They gave up points to Bama at the line. Big time rebound by Hubbard.
Mississippi State switching 1 through 4, making sure Tolu Smith, though, doesn't get involved in the switch. He just wore Kentucky out, man, running rim to rim. He ran right to that right block and went to work.
That's his first bucket of the night. If he qualified to be among the league leaders, he'd be top 10 in points and rebounds, 17 and 7 a night, coming off of a double-double against Bama.
He is a warrior, but man, he's one of the sweetest kids in this league. Just a joy to visit with at all times. Loves the game like a guard. Can't allow that.
Great screen though by Onyenso.
Yeah, but Tom, you got to get under it to communicate, man. That's what Kentucky guards do, especially Dillingham and Shepard. They come off that ball screen looking to pull.
Matthews hesitated. Smith, a lot of eyes on him, including Mitchell lurking. Onyenso with the block. 9-point Kentucky lead. The transition paying off for the Cats.
Yeah, watch Rob Dillingham, though. He's going to operate out here off top. The ball screen comes, and that defender gets clipped. 0, and White says, thank you very much. That's every time money. That's game tonight. And but Ole Miss defensively, well, they blocked 15, 16 shots last week, tied an SEC record, but LSU is much, much improved. Life on the road in this league this year is as good as it's ever been. And Auburn right now just punking people by 19 points a game is their average margin of victory. Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, all those teams right there have my eye as teams that can make a really deep run in March.
Trey Mitchell commits the foul, his first. He's leading the league in minutes played. They want him to stay out of foul trouble. It sends Tolu Smith the third to the free throw line. He gets to the free throw line 8.5 times a game. He is just a load down low.
He is phenomenal, Tom, when he catches that ball in the paint because he doesn't hesitate. Man, he goes up sometimes a little too fast. Where he needs to slow his game down is when he's forced to catch it outside the paint. He still sometimes reacts way too fast. Just the longer you play the game, the slower the game becomes, especially for bigs.
I don't know. The game was always really slow for me. Here's Mitchell. Kentucky going to run a little bit of clock here on a 9-point lead, 7.5 to play in a half.
State continuing to switch 1 through 4, keeping Tolu Smith attached. Uh-oh.
Smith on the glass after the miss by Reeves. Four of State's 8 makes have come from deep. Much better three-point shooting team this year than last. They were 363rd in the country in three-point percentage last year. If I'm not mistaken, that's last. Shot clock at 6. Here's Smith. He can drive right into trouble and lost it off of Mitchell. Dillingham. And now Wagner with the drive.
Man, he is so good with either paw getting downhill with force. And Tolu Smith is not going to pass the ball, and Kentucky knows it. As soon as he puts it on the floor, they are swarming him like bees.
Matthews off of Dillingham's rump. And he'll stay with State.
Look at Wagner, man. He's got that dance ability up top, and he can shake you, and you're not sure which way he's going, so you got to try to square him up. But as soon as your hips get open, it's advantage DJ Wagner.
Wagner's got 7 points and 3 of 5 shooting here in the first half. Good rip by Moore. Great D by Wagner, who's really struggled man-to-man defense over the course of the season. Last in an opponent's field goal percentage when he's guarding. They're shooting at a 62% clip. Dillingham not a heck of a lot better. 2 of the 3 worst defenders in the SEC on the ball.
And that's their area of growth. And Josh Hubbard, the kid for Mississippi State, the freshman, the phenomenal scorer, struggles with the same way. Most young guards in college their first year, they just don't understand the importance of guarding that ball. They open up their hips way too much. Now those straight line drives.
Moore with the drive from the baseline. A nice kiss.
I know Kentucky's better in their gaps tonight, but you're Mississippi State. You got to keep putting pressure on them to guard that ball. Really well done.
Reeves turns the corner. Mitchell, Mitty. Second bucket of the night for Trey Mitchell. Look at that, 8 points and 13 boards against A&M.
As good as he is with the ball, he's really good without the ball.
Onyensol with his 3rd rejection of the night. Wagner in transition. Back to Shepard. Cashes that one in.
That is a layup for Reed Shepard. In terms of effective field goal percentage, when you value the 3, there's none better in college ball as a shooter than Reed Shepard.
Largest lead of the night for the Cats. Another danger zone for State. Matthews hustling. Onyensol pulls it down. Shepard 3rd in the country, 3-point percentage, 54% clip.
If Mississippi State can't get Hubbard going, the small guard, it is big time danger zone trying to close out this half.
Mentioned his 15 points a game. That's for a team that only scores 75.
Yeah, exactly.
Reeves through the foul, and he's got 2 coming. Our featured ESPN women's matchup for Sunday is Angel Reese and 10th-ranked LSU playing host to Arkansas at the PMAC. LSU's got to try and bounce back against Alabama tomorrow night in front of a record crowd at Auburn this weekend. They suffered the loss. They scored 92 points a game at 2nd in the country, but Auburn held them to just 62.
When is LSU going to have another dress like Kim Mulkey night? Did you see that? And they are all in. They all bought in.
How can you afford to dress like Kim Mulkey?
You can't. You go fake Kim Mulkey with a fur that night. Now this kid's starting to come on, and Calipari knows it. I mean, Bradshaw was a non-factor at A&M, and Ugo Onyensol, his energy, his length, the only thing he can't do is pick and pop. Other than that, he's a handful right now as a 7-footer.
Could be getting another 7-footer in Big Z soon. Still hung up at NCAA purgatory.
How about Big Blue Nation rallying to raise almost $4,000 to buy a billboard outside the NCAA in Indianapolis? Free Big Z. That speaks to what Big Blue Nation is.
I don't know that the folks in Indy are going to be influenced by that.
No.
Here's Reeves. He got hit from behind, and he'll go to the free throw line. Shaquille Moore thought he caught it clean.
I tell you what's clean for Kentucky. They are so clean in their advanced passing. And Tom, if they can advance pass it from 1/3 of the floor to the other, or from one side to the middle, as well as you can ask, and they always, as soon as they get eyes up looking ahead. Reeves has grown so much in his game in terms of yards after contact. A spot shooter when he initially came here, now very difficult from the 3, the runners, and at the rim.
We mentioned Big Z. There he is, Zvonimir Ivicic, freshman from Croatia. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes to try to get everything cleared through the NCAA. I know Cal has been a little bit impatient with it.
Wait, Cal impatient?
It's shocking, I know. Talking with people behind the scenes, the administration is working hard. Cal is pleading for it. It just takes a long time to get these things done. And for the fans who say, we demand an answer, we need an answer now, the question is, hold on a second. You want this massaged properly because you want the proper answer. You want him to be able to play. The NCAA is happy to give you an answer 2 months ago, but if that answer is no, what'd you accomplish?
If it truly is about the stipends he received in international ball, then we have a real problem with how we're viewing this thing, because Tom, there are high school kids that are making a couple $100,000 in NIL right now prior to coming to college basketball. So it's something that we have to look at overall in the college game. How do we view international players that have received a stipend, maybe some travel money with their teams? And right now, Big Z is held up because of it.
Here's Cameron Matthews at the free throw line. He's been shooting the ball really well lately. And knocks down the first free throw.
He holds this team together for Mississippi State. A rugged competitor, defends all the spots, moves the ball well, competes, doesn't shoot it great. His problem has been foul trouble. He's got to stay on the floor in SEC play for Chris Jans.
64% from the line, but he knocks them both down. It's a Kentucky team that averages 91 points a game. That's second best in the country. They are off to a whale of a start offensively, shooting 56%. They've already made 5 threes. And they've gotten the better of Mississippi State's great defense. Bradshaw fouled on the jam. Jeffries charged with the foul. 16-point advantage for Kentucky. Aaron Bradshaw will be at the free throw line when we return. And to Dallin's point, Kentucky's scoring 1.5 points per possession, and doing it against a team that came in with great defensive accolades. Bradshaw at the free throw line. Here's your game summary. And how about the points off turnovers?
Well, Kentucky has scored off every turnover they forced. And look at this, Smith and Hubbard, they combined for 5 points. They're not going to win games. Those are the two guys that come in. One's averaging 17, the other 15. If those two guys can't get loose in this game, the lead's just going to continue to grow for this Kentucky team.
Hubbard is 1 for 6. And that's 1 for 5 from 3.
But he is getting off 1 3-point shot every 2 minutes that he's on the floor. So if you're Kentucky, keep this kid's airspace away. That's a carry.
He makes nearly 3 threes a game. And a State turnover, 6 of the game. Only good news is it wasn't a live ball turnover.
And Tom, that's a turnover caused by Bradshaw's quick feet to get out there and impact that ball on the ball screen and force some hesitation out of Hubbard. Really well done.
If you had to take one player away, if your scout, as the opposing team said, shut down this Kentucky player with this 5 on the floor, who would it be?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can't come up with the right answer.
Shepard misses from the corner. They are loaded with weapons. One of 3 SEC teams in the top 10 in the country in scoring. Alabama, big win against Missouri last night, and Florida, which lost an early start. That was nearly a matinee for you on Rocky Top yesterday.
What a highlight film Dalton Connect was. If you missed it, 39 points.
Edwards downhill.
I like the description, though. If you're saying Edwards downhill, Edwards is playing like John Calipari wants him to play. Yeah, Dalton Connect with 39 last night on Rocky Top, and 2 hours later, Wade Taylor goes into Bud Walton Arena for 41 in a loss.
That was an amazing finish and a must-win for Eric Musselman and his Arkansas team. They'll protect the home court in this league, and Bus reinflated the tires after starting winless through the first 3 in conference play.
Yeah, Tom, that was a deflated team on Saturday night after their loss at Florida, and for Muss to get his team right and take down A&M, that's what Bradshaw can do, man. You can't double off of him and try to trap that ball. He's too good at the pick and pop, and he's a really good shooter in that short roll from 15.
So the Bus got a little bit of a tune-up?
They did. Got some air in the tires, got some hope.
3 ball goes. That was an arrow from Trey Ford.
That's what he does. He squeezed off 400 3-point attempts in 2 years at junior college.
That's an amazing number. I heard that Saturday. Whoa. Dillingham feeds Bradshaw to pick and roll.
Pretty good contact by Bradshaw, and that's where he's starting to grow a little bit. He can pick and pop to the three, short roll, and now short roll and finish through contact of Smith. That's really good news for Kentucky.
State has made just one of its last 7 attempts. Here's Sean Jones. Lost control on his way in. Kentucky +4 in the glass. Reeves with the Euro.
Little lingerie on the floor. And Antonio Reeves has grown so much. Mississippi State seeing multiple white jerseys on every catch on the perimeter. That gap defense by Kentucky has been as good as it's been all year.
Cats might get to half 100 here the first 20. Jones the steal. Here's Tolu. Easy deuce. Only 4 points in the first half for Tolu Smith.
Yeah, if I'm John Calipari, he's going to take this thing down right now. A beautiful first half for Kentucky. One careless miscue right there.
Dillingham for 3. You surprised he didn't run a little bit more?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I don't think that's what Cal was wanting out of his guys. And to your point about Dillingham, feels like leather. Let it go. Whoa.
Oh,
whoa.
Not a wise pass. It's Kentucky basketball with 10.9 left.
Just a careless turnover by Jeffries, a habit pass. You think you're running 5-on-0 offense right here to close out the half, and I mean, that's about as lazy of a pass as you're going to see in the SEC this year. Anything soft, selfish, or stupid in this league this year will not work. This league is too good. Any play that has any of those 3 numbers or words to describe it is a real problem in this league this year.
Eight seconds left. Shepard behind Bradshaw. Here's Dillingham. It's going up, and it got rejected. 2/10 of a second remaining. It will stay with the Cats.
Well, good job by Matthews to fly out from that forward position in the zone. Kentucky got a good look by screening the top of it. This has to be a tip right now, so the half's over.
Wouldn't have counted if it went. Well, Mississippi State is 2-30 all time in this building. And tonight they look like they're headed to 2-31. But only one half in. 8th-ranked Kentucky with a comfortable lead.
Offensively, and Kentucky's defense has really impressed me. They are gap heavy. They're doing a good job of guarding the ball. One of the better halves of Kentucky so far this year.
Thirsty? I haven't used that. I've heard that used in basketball terms before.
I'm stunned that you haven't.
I like it.
Oh,
whoa.
wow.
Golly. That shot came out of nowhere.
Thirsty shot blocker.
That's right.
Aaron Bradshaw. You got to drive it in there with a purpose, you know. I mean, you know what's waiting on you. Like I said, anything soft in this league this year will not be rewarded. Just not enough explosion.
He may have broken a camera on the baseline. Here's the feed to Tolu Smith. Leans in for the bucket. That's only his 3rd field goal of the game.
Yeah, that is his game. He is a power guy with power going towards the rim. Kentucky has made him play in a crowd, though, the entire ball game so far.
Reeves got by Matthews, going behind the Bradshaw screen. Here's Wagner. Shot clock at 4. And Reeves missed the layup. Into Tolu, and he gets fouled by Bradshaw.
Well, Bradshaw had an opportunity to win the meet and greet, which I think, Tom, you have to do to Tolu Smith. You can't let him run all the way to the low block. You've got to meet him at the free throw line, meet and greet. Here I am for this possession. You don't do it, he's going to establish that low block every single time.
74% free throw shooter. Tolu Smith started his playing career on the other side of the Commonwealth at Western Kentucky as a freshman. 3 points and 2.5 boards a game.
I told you I love this kid, and some things that I love about him basketball-wise. He's played over 2,900 career minutes. You know how many three-point shots that he's attempted? None.
What?
Almost 3,000 minutes played in a college game and has not attempted a three. He knows. where his game is.
Just doesn't know where the line is. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell got mugged. Matthews got him around the neck. It's your second on Cameron Matthews.
That's his second and the team's first.
You win the elbow or you win that nail drive, good things happen to your offense. And Mitchell,
at the line for 2.
such a hard team Kentucky is to close out on because of their ability to shoot it and drive it from 4 or 5 spots.
Mitchell's got another one coming up at 10 Eastern over on ESPN. For 12, Arizona plays host to USC at the McHale Center. Bronny James still trying to get it going for the Trojans. Former #1 team in the country, Tommy Lloyd's Arizona squad. Mitchell makes a bow.
Arizona is one of 6 teams right now, top 20 in both offensive and defensive efficiencies. Houston, Purdue, Arizona, Auburn out of this league, North Carolina, and BYU. Those are your 6 that are getting it done on both ends of the floor at a pretty good rate.
One of the reasons Auburn's riding a 9-game win streak is they go into the West End tonight to take on Vandy. Briefly to Sean Davis.
So Tom, you come with a low double team on Tolu Smith, so that weak side defense now is a man down, and Tolu Smith finds that backside 3 and a good start in the second half for Mississippi State.
And a takeaway for the Bulldogs. Numbers, they push, and Tolu Smith there to clean it up.
He just outran Ugo Onyenso to Tolu Smith, and Tolu Smith again this afternoon said we have to turn this thing into a backyard brawl and be the older, more physical team. In this half so far they have been.
It's ripped by Davis, 3-on-2 for Mississippi State. They shuffle it to Smith, and he is taken over in the second half. Mississippi State has outscored Kentucky 11-2 out of the locker room.
Cal's going to bring the ball across, and he's thinking about a timeout. He's going to trust his team, it looks like, to play through it.
Jimmy, it seemed on the first couple of possessions that Kentucky really pulled back on the tempo.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And another turnover. Davis leading the charge. He'll pull it out.
I think Cal will wish he would have taken that timeout as that ball was coming up, because now look at it, 49-43. He took it one possession too late, and it cost his team 3 points.
DJ Jeffries with the 3. Good ball movement, good sharing. It all started with great defense.
Yeah, well, the most aggressive team wins. The team that plays the hardest win. Kentucky in the first half, Mississippi State so far in the second half.
Cardoso, SEC 6th Woman of the Year at 6'7". How about Ashlyn Watkins, who threw down the dunk Monday night against Kentucky? Only the 9th time in game in the women's game that we've seen a dunk. It was clean.
I think Dawn Staley, I know her fairly well from the past. She takes it personal when someone wins the title other than her. Her squad right now, their average margin of victory for South Carolina, right at 40 points. 40 points.
Dillingham now has 13. Mississippi State, we were talking about thirst in the first half. They're not thirsty. They came out hungry in the second half.
Kentucky had 3 turnovers in the first 3 minutes to start the second period. And they've been so good and so clean with the ball for as fast as they play on the year.
Dillingham bailed out with the offensive rebound.
That length equates to a tip out so well for Kentucky.
Don Calipari 17-1 all time against Mississippi State. Here's Onyenso off the assist from Shepard.
Just another smart pass by Shepard, though. He drove the ball the entire time, getting his eyes locked in with Onyenso. That nonverbal communication and the easy finish.
Moore gets it into Smith.
Put him in a crowd here, right?
Bunch of white jerseys, and Shepard got a hand on it. 10-point lead for Kentucky. Great effort by State here in the second half. The lead at one point was 20, but they're whittling it away.
Tom, Mississippi State, they come out with a purpose, and what their purpose is under Chris Jans is defensively, man, they can really turn it up on you. And Kentucky came out and coughed this thing up 3 times in the first 3 minutes. It allowed Mississippi State to find some easy baskets and ultimately a corner 3. So Mississippi State right here, their 7th made 3-point shot in this game. That's their average on the year, so they're at their average for makes. And Kentucky, just careless to start this second half, has given life.
5 for 8 from the floor, including 2 for 2 from deep in the second half. And those 3 takeaways the key.
Short clock, right? Right now, you got to go.
Yeah, now they got their scorer, Hubbard, in the game. Left it short from the mid-range. He's really struggling with his shot tonight. 1 for 8 in his first trip to Rupp Arena. Here's Reeves. Baseline floater.
Yeah, Hubbard is struggling with his shot. He's struggling to stay in front of the ball. Reeves that time just a little foot fake. Drives baseline into that floater that he is so good at.
Moore got Shepard in the air off the curl.
Watch Antonio Reeves right here. I saw a little, just a little bit of a foot fake to get Josh Hubbard off balance and crowding the ball too much. And Reeves, man, it's very difficult to draw a charge on this kid because of the floater game, the escape bounce and step that he has added over the years. Hard guard, Antonio Reeves.
In college basketball, charges have gone the way of the dodo.
Pretty much, they have.
Loud to Smith, and a reach in.
That's good action, though, for Tolu Smith. A little bit of a zoom action, and what that is, the big guy up top dribbles the ball towards one side, and you got guards now that are screened for each other. You can dribble, hand off. That time he gives it up, and the immediate roll. There's no give up in this kid or this team.
Jan's tough coach, 5 seasons at Mississippi State, 4-time WAC champions, 3-time WAC tournament champs. Started last year 11-0. That starts in 03. Saturday on the SEC Network, another quadruple header, highlighted by the Cats at home against Georgia at 6 o'clock Eastern. Mike White's team ahead of schedule. They've had a great year so far.
Mike White's team, they don't beat themselves. That is a well-coached group. I had them last week when they put it on Arkansas. A big road win for them last night at South Carolina, and Mike has flipped that program. One of the better home courts right now in this league.
The atmosphere was fantastic last time they were at Stegman. Mississippi State showed a little full court pressure. Well, Kentucky late getting into its offense. Mitchell with 10. Great defense by Matthews. And then he fouled him, and Mitchell making him pay.
He is so good and tough and smart with the ball as Mitchell. He doesn't beat you with like jet speed, but just the ball fakes. He gets you off balance, and his ability to play off two right there and go right through the chin to the rim through Matthews. Not easy to do. Matthews, one of the better physical defenders in this league.
Senior from Olive Branch, Mississippi. Meanwhile, Mitchell going back to work.
You mentioned Jans as a grinder. I love the fact that when he first started coaching, his first 7 years as an assistant in college basketball, he actually got paid from Valley Parking Cars, a substitute teacher, and he's the director of a men's dorm on campus.
Well, Matthews,
I think that was
nearly
going
in. Yeah. Matthews credited for the bucket.
Was that not going to go in?
It's either a really good pass or a terrible pass, right? You throw it right in the hoop.
He can't get one to go as a shooter. He gets one to drop as a passer.
Mitchell draws another foul. That one's on Tolu Smith, and Mitchell going to the free throw line again.
Tom, to my point about how good he is at getting his defender off balance. The shot fakes, the head fakes, the foot fakes. Right here, the step back shot fake, lean in. Really well done by Trey Mitchell.
You mentioned that he was the glue on this team, talking with his Kentucky staff. They said, this guy is so cerebral that he sees something on both ends of the floor that the other 9 guys on the court don't know and don't see.
We met his dog Aura last Tuesday here. Portuguese water dog.
A water dog, huh?
And he said she hates the water. Like maybe the only Portuguese water dog out there that hates the water.
You keep the receipt? Here's Hubbard behind Bell. And an offensive putback by Cameron Matthews. You got to wonder just a little bit with Josh Hubbard being instant offense, an elite scorer, Mississippi high school basketball, that this spotlight, this arena, this opponent might be just a little bit big for him because he's having his worst shooting night of the season.
We mentioned he gets off 8 3-point shots a game, Hubbard does, and he shoots a good percentage, but he has struggled even with the open looks. Now, the danger is he's continuing to get some pretty good shots off. They're only down 13 points. Kentucky has to understand again. Fight Tolu Smith for 40 minutes. Don't let Hubbard get rolling from the 3-ball.
Hubbard heads back to the bench for State. He's 1 for 9 and 1 for 7 from 3.
He comes in as a 39% three-point shooter on the year.
That's 4th best in the league. He had 25 against Tennessee, including 5 for 10 from deep against a great defensive team.
In 28 minutes?
Yeah.
How many teams are going to do that to Tennessee this year? How many kids?
Reeves able to corral a bad pass, gets it back to Anienso. Anienso with 2 seconds left in the shot clock gets fouled.
The foul is on Ford. That's his first and the team's fourth.
Whoa, a little behind the back move, a little dipsy-do.
Anienso still growing as a 7-footer in terms of how he sees the game, how he plays the game. But just that simple play right there, Tom, to get the ball in traffic and keep it high. He has a fabulous future about him, can really run, cares about the game, cares about the right things. One of those, another grateful kid like Oscar Tshiebwe, who, by the way, a year ago today in this building, Oscar Tshiebwe had a 37-point, 24-rebound game against Georgia. One of the most dominating individual performances I saw all of last year in college ball. I was sitting here courtside to call it 1 year ago tonight.
And you know what's amazing with what Oscar was able to accomplish in a Kentucky uniform? One of the best rebounders college basketball has ever seen. And now John Calipari adapting without the National College Player of the Year, completely changing their style. They've opened up the offense. They shoot way more threes. I mean, last time out against A&M, 39 of their 76 attempts came from deep, and the floor just seems to be wide open.
Yeah, it's the highest percentage of threes taken and made under John Calipari at Kentucky. And you're not a Hall of Fame coach and been as long as he has if you don't move with the game tells you to go.
Dillingham tracks down the rebound. Mississippi State had made this thing really interesting, cut the lead down, but now the Cats have made 5 in a row.
See that step by Antonio Reeves? It's so good and long and clever, and gets him away from the defense as well as any guard in this league at his size.
And an answer from deep.
Three-point basket by Ford.
It's Lorenzo Fort III, goes by Trey. A lot of stickers on his suitcase and numerous stops before he made his way to Starkville. Reeves got a little bit of space. Fort was at 2 different high schools, a prep school, UT Martin, and then 2 different junior colleges, Copiah Lincoln and Howard College. Big fella inside, nice touch for Jimmy Bell Jr.
And Jimmy Bell was averaging close to a double-double before Tolu Smith came back. So that 1-2 combination in the pivot spot for Mississippi State is a handful. Kentucky just not able to put Mississippi State away in this game.
Bell started the first 14 games of the season. Smith missed the first 12. Dillingham into the big fella. Shepard open on the wing. Got it.
I think the entire time Dillingham knew this ball was going to end up with Shepard. He drove that thing with a purpose, the hammer pass, and then the quick reversal, one more to Shepard. Beautiful offense.
How about the touch for Bell again?
What'd you say he was, an offensive tackle out of high school?
Yeah, in fact, he played spring ball for Neil Brown at West Virginia when he was done playing for Bob Huggins. And at the Big 12 tournament last year, a Kansas City Chiefs scout, the tournament in Kansas City, pulled Huggins aside and said, hey, this kid could make the NFL today as a tackle.
The foul is on Davis. That's his second.
He's made it a 12-point game, 6'10", 280 now. He was 350 when he arrived at West Virginia. Big load inside for State. The Hall of Famer Bob Huggins had some success recruiting Saginaw, Michigan. Got Kenyon Martin from there and went there to find Jimmy Bell, who as a sophomore in high school was 6'8", 380. Eventually gave up football as a high school junior. Went to prep school, bounced around a little bit, played for Travis Ford at St. Louis University for a couple seasons. That didn't end well. Went to Moberly Community College, former home of Cotton Fitzsimmons back in the day, and he said, I really fell in love with the game. We didn't have a training table. We barely had a strength coach. It was, hey, what can you do for yourself in the gym? And then ended up playing for Huggins, basically replaced Oscar Tshiebwe at West Virginia, and now finds his home in Starkville.
He's about the right stuff, and Coach Jans loves this kid. And You know, 34 starts last year for an NCAA tournament team, brings a lot of experience, just adds to the physicality that Mississippi State can throw at you on that front line.
It's a success story from a physicality standpoint. We told you how big he was. He dropped 75 pounds by losing 8 pounds a week and doing it the right way. Imagine all the work that goes into that.
He lost a 5th grader.
Yeah, he did. He did. 14-point Kentucky lead.
Tom, I look at those young Kentucky guards. It's so difficult to win a national title with a freshman point guard. It's been done, but it's not the common thing. What I love about Wagner when he's out there in Dillingham as a point guard, you have 2 responsibilities every night. Are you a dog? And does my team win? And I think that's what those 2 kids, I know that's how they're wired. That's why I believe in this Kentucky young backcourt.
Here's our next star-studded ESPN NBA Friday doubleheader. Jokic and the Nuggets take the second game of a 5-game road trip against Jason Tatum and the Eastern Conference leading Celtics at 7:30 Eastern. Then the Mavs hope to have Luka Doncic back for this one against Steph and the Warriors. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern.
It's a 14-point game. If you look at Kentucky right now, there's no Hubbard on the floor that you have to be concerned about for 3-point shooting. Fort can make one. But you've got to continue to make sure that inside game of Mississippi State doesn't start hammering away at you.
Cats show a little bit of pressure. Bell's trying to muscle up on Bradshaw.
There's that zoom action. The big dribbles towards those guards, and they have multiple actions they can go off of it.
Bell, a big body screener. Fort from the corner. And Shepard with the board.
How about Kentucky defensively? Still only 3 fouls. Not only are they defending their tails off, they've defended their tails off without fouling in this half.
State able to switch 1 through 4 basically. Shot clock at 5. Bradshaw from the corner. He's only made 3 threes on the season, and Bell was happy to allow him to shoot that one. Now a touchdown low. 10 minutes left in this one. Jones. Dillingham with the rebound. Well, Dillingham and Shepard, great rebounders from their guard spots.
Where's the offense come from without Tolu Smith and Hubbard on the floor? Chris Jan is trying to figure out the same thing right now until he gets him back in.
Trey Fort started his Mississippi State career with a great game and then fell into a shooting slump. Jeffries is unable to get it in the hole.
Well, they missed 11 shots at the rim against Alabama, and they're approaching that number again tonight against Kentucky. Mississippi State is.
Here's Bradshaw. State got their hands on it. Bell on the floor for it. Jones with the lob. It wasn't clean, but he got it off in time to Trey Fort.
Good job by Jones, though, to secure the basketball. The energy level went completely up in Mississippi State's practice today. They were listening to different music as the practice went on. And then as soon as Chris Stapleton and Jason Aldean came on, Sean Jones went off the charts with his energy. Big-time country music fan is Sean Jones.
No jelly roll. Here's Dillingham.
Yeah, he's got everything in his playlist. I mean, it was backed up by the Commodores' brick house, and I thought the practice went to 10 out of 10 at that point.
What was the soundtrack from that great movie I remember from back in the day, Bluegrass?
No, you didn't.
Bell goes to the floor.
Oh, man.
I'm not the only one in the Commonwealth that has IMDb access.
One of the great things about Rupp Arena is you see Mississippi State with a pass from Jones is that at halftime we're right there with the fans, and it's been a lot of years since I heard someone say to me, hey, weren't you in the movie Bluegrass, Jimmy? And I was. As an assistant coach here, Cheryl Ladd and Mickey Rooney were the stars in the movie. It's a movie about the horse racing industry in the state of Kentucky, and somehow I got a small part in the movie. I mean, if you look real close, you can see me for about 7 seconds. But I got out of practice for 2 days to go shoot the film.
How did they survive without you?
We barely won the next game, thankfully to Rex Chapman, who went for 30.
He didn't need much coaching. So you went from bluegrass to blue chips,
Yes,
basically, from you to
pretty
Rex.
much what I did. That was the high and the low of my acting career.
So you decided to be a country music star.
That went almost as well.
Under 8.
Why did I tell you I had that conversation?
Think I didn't know. Shepard with the pump fake will go to the line for 3. Sean Davis commits a foul with this commercial break. You have a chance to pull up Jimmy's IMDb page. It won't take long.
Google Bluegrass. Cheryl Ladd, Mickey Root.
Thesaurus.com, Ivy Leaguer, way to go. They went to the monitor, by the way, when we were at break. This was not a 3 that Shepard was fouled on. It's a 2. He's got 2 free throws coming his way. His dad, Jeff, not the only national champion former Cat in the building tonight, huh?
No, Scott Shepard, assistant for
Scott Padgett.
Scott Padgett, assistant for Chris Jans. Hit one of the biggest shots of Kentucky basketball in the regional finals against Duke to advance into the Final Four and win the title.
That was 98. Here's Hubbard. Just not there tonight for Hubbard. State able to track it down. Contested 2. That's a tough shot. Tolu Smith finds the rebound, and it turns into a 3-point chance.
He's got great hands. Tolu Smith does. He can seldom fumbles a bad pass and so good in those quick offensive rebounds that are hard to handle for a kid his size. Look at that. That ball comes off with speed and soft set of paws and a strong finish.
And Jimmy, the other thing I'm reminded of when I watch Tolu Smith, maybe it's because we're in this building, but Oscar Tshiebwe was a great rebounder in large part because he knew the angles, the repetition of being under the basket for so many shots. It seemed like he knew where the ball was coming, and sometimes it came right to him.
Absolutely, he did. And he owned the front of the rim as a rebounder. That's actually one of the areas that Tolu needs to grow. He's only averaging like 6 rebounds a game right now. Too good, too big to not be a 9 or 10 rebound guy.
Lob. Finished by Bradshaw.
Anytime you go zone against Kentucky, they are going to come out of that dunker spot, throw it to the nail, and find the big. Really well done.
So here's Hubbard, Mississippi native who was committed to Kermit Davis and Ole Miss, waiting on the wing, trying to find his stroke tonight. Kermit was relieved of his duties in Oxford. Mississippi State pounced on the opportunity to get the all-time leading scorer in state history. Follow jam, Cameron Matthews. Matthews approaching double figures. Here's a stagger, and Dillingham went the opposite way. Finds Shepard, who finds Bradshaw.
He is so smart to read Shepard. He looked off the defense, knowing the entire time he's going with Bradshaw.
3 ball off the mark. Hubbard gonna keep shooting. That's what he does.
And it's just one of those nights for the kid, like you said, almost 4,400 points. Mississippi High School, the all-time scoring leader, just can't get it to drop right now.
So you think about the great talent that is coming out of the state of Mississippi. How about this guy Booker, right? Played at his dad's high school, Moss Point High School, where his dad Melvin. He scored 2,500 in 3 seasons. Hubbard 4,300. They both were state Gatorade Player of the Year 10 years apart, and neither one of them made a college start so far for Hubbard.
No, well, if Hubbard just has an average night, this is a 9 or 10 point game, but even the good looks just not dropping for him.
He's a top scoring freshman off the bench in the last 20 years. It's a different game if he's hitting tonight. Mitchell back out, Dillingham. Mississippi State came in at 12-4. They got up to another good start this season. Started 11-2. Last year started 11-0. And even though they got Tolu Smith back after missing the first 12 games, well, that schedule got a lot tougher.
Kentucky has changed up the looks, though, for Tolu Smith in this game, keeping him guessing a little bit. They've doubled at times from the low side. They've waited till he's bounced it. They haven't doubled him, and that's what you got to do to a kid that good as a low post scorer. Keep him uncomfortable and not certain where that defense is coming from.
Sean Jones stepped on the sideline. By the way, we're talking about Big Z perhaps making a return. Feels like the folks around here expect an answer fairly soon. And I was talking with the coaching staff about his ability defensively, and they said, listen, he's not going to be available for 40 minutes a night when he comes back, but what he does is he erases a lot of defensive mistakes, even if he doesn't have the perfect rotation. And before you get mad at the kid, he comes from across the lane and sends a shot into the 5th row.
Yeah, he's another shot blocker around the rim. Now, he doesn't fix the problem for Kentucky guarding the ball, although Kentucky has been so much better tonight as opposed to what they were at A&M.
Well, maybe Cal would play zone.
Cal zone? Boy, the turnovers by Mississippi State just continue to pile up on them in this game. You can't have them. And 9 turnovers for Chris Jan's squad, which is normally a winning number, but those first half live ball turnovers really gave Kentucky separation.
State hadn't scored in a couple of minutes. Reeves down the lane and reach in on Mississippi State. 2 free throws coming for Antonio Reeves. It's a 4th on Cameron Matthews. Dillingham's got blood all over the back of his shorts. Chuck Jones says, get this man some new drawers, and also the left hand needs to be taped up. That's where it's coming from. So there'll be Satan all over it, an athletic trainer.
Tom, there's no doubt Kentucky has the offensive punch to be a major player in the SEC this year. They're coming averaging right at 91 points a game, but they're not going to be able to outscore teams in this league over the 18-game slate. It's too rugged of a league, too old, too physical, and defensively, Cal got his guys' attention this week. And they got really serious about trying to stay square on the ball, guarding the ball, having accountability, but then the gap coverage tonight against Mississippi State has been on point, especially without Hubbard making threes. There's no reason for Kentucky to get overstretched in this game.
Well, it'll be really interesting when Alabama comes here last weekend in February for an afternoon contest. 2 of the top scoring teams in all of college basketball. Tolu Smith, deep money.
Just absolute money. And he wins that spot, and you don't push him off for a 7-footer. He gets low and wide. A major weapon.
And a reach in on Moore. 16-point Kentucky lead. When we return, Jimmy is going to repeat all of his lines from the world-famous movie Bluegrass. Stay tuned. All right, guys, thanks. And Arizona trying to get right, too. Here's Shepard at the free throw line.
Tolu Smith with 17 points. And just watch what he did on that last possession underneath the basket. Just dislodges Mitchell. And the quick, forceful, no hesitation. And that's where he lives. But Kentucky been impressed with their physicality with Tolu in this ball game. One-on-one, they made him work for his 17 points. But make no mistake now, he's a force. And the combination of he and Josh Hubbard is hard to guard. Hubbard didn't come through tonight, but this kid is always capable of keeping Mississippi State in a basketball game. They work off that high butt screen, and he just goes to work inside one-on-one.
Here's Fort. Wow, big shot. Fort started off red hot. He was 8 for 14 from deep over the first 2 games. Then he fell into a major slump, 3 for 23. And Chris Jans had to remind him, like, hey, buddy, there's a lot you can do on the floor when the shot's not falling. Might be a conversation then, furthermore, for Hubbard coming off this one. Ball poked away, but Kentucky finds it. Here's Mitchell for 3. What can he not do?
Tom, has Kentucky not gotten every 50-50 ball in this game?
Feels like
Yeah, when the ball is loose, they've just had a knack in this ball game to win the foot race to the ball.
coming off of a loss in overtime to Texas A&M, trying to erase that memory. And his staff said, listen, these guys came back in. They were disappointed with their loss, but there's no pointing fingers. There's no, hey, why didn't you shoot that one? Why didn't you get that rebound? It was just back to work for this squad.
And think about John Calipari's explosive offense. So tonight, this will only be the 12th time out of 51 games under Chris Jans at Mississippi State they have allowed the opponent to go over 70 points. This is a rugged, tough, old defense that Kentucky has had their way with.
Rattles home for Tolu Smith.
He loves ball. He approaches the game like a guard. They have to literally lock the doors and kick him out of the gym. He's an overworker, which is uncommon for a 7-footer. A lot of times when you're that big, the game chooses you. You don't choose the game. He chose the game. And I love his spirit. I love his heart. I love how he is as a teammate. Very engaging guy. And Mississippi State's going to be a factor in this SEC all year long.
He went to Hawaii for his senior year of high school. Played at Oahu North Shore High School. Was the 2018 Hawaii Player of the Year. And back to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, before going to Western Kentucky to start his college career. Reeves got another one. And he's been through so many injuries, not just the foot at the beginning of this season. Last year he was limited. The year before he was limited.
I mean, just his 5th game, so he's still. He told me earlier today, I'm just still trying to find my groove and my rhythm in a game, but he's coming on. You mentioned Scott Padgett earlier.
Yeah.
The assistant from Mississippi State. One of the beloved all-time guys here at Kentucky as a player. Ooh, man, that shoulder speed and whip. That's what Tolu Smith can do to you. But Scott Padgett told me today, watch out. He actually purchased part of the Rupp Arena floor back in 2000. They had a fundraiser for a foundation. So I think he bought like a 6x6 foot square that was right in front of the Kentucky bench at the time.
Did he get the one with the big sticker that says Rupp Arena or something?
I don't know about that, but I know that he had Joe B. Hall, Rick Pitino, Tubby Smith, and Eddie Sutton have signed it.
That's cool.
And this was in 2000. 24 years later, he still has it stashed away somewhere inside a Rupp Arena underneath the bleachers.
He's never taken delivery?
No, he's waiting to build his dream home and actually put it in his home. So, but he does call once a year, he told me, and makes sure that Rupp knows that piece of the floor is mine.
So somewhere in the bowels of his building,
yes.
Reeves with a three-point play. He's got 26 now. Let's take you back to the shot that Padgett hit Elite 8 1998 against Duke. Elton Brand had no shot in this one down in St. Petersburg.
Well, anytime Kentucky makes a big shot against Duke, it's going to be remembered right for all times. And the 1998 national title team.
And that was part, Jimmy, of a 17-point comeback for Kentucky that night. 27 now for Reeves. Great to have Scott back in the building. Smith with the jam. You know, college staffs have been able to grow a little bit. They added one more assistant this year. More opportunities for guys.
He told me today also that I believe the 1996 national championship team played the 98 national championship team in an exhibition game like years down the road. And it ended in a tie.
I'm surprised it didn't end in a fight.
Jeff Shepard dribbled the ball out because he wanted to end in a tie. and he's still mad about it. Well, Kentucky once again, they come in averaging 91, and look what they got against one of the better defensive teams in the country.
You know, Jimmy, it might be crazy to suggest this, but we talk about the history of this great program. We talk about the 1998 team, the 96 team. Can this Kentucky team be another national championship version?
There's no doubt, Tom. Now, defensively and guarding the glass, it was exposed in the last game against A&M. That has to continue to grow for them because that NCAA tournament, you have to play your way through a lot of physical teams. And That's when your weakness gets exposed. You get knocked out in March by what your weakness was all regular season long. Kentucky's got to continue to grow defensively.
Wow, Trey Ford came flying out of nowhere. 13 for him, 13-point lead for Kentucky. Mississippi State will get back at it. They got Vandy Saturday afternoon on the SEC Network. Meanwhile, Kentucky draws Georgia. And for John Calipari, his 400th win as the head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats. This one maybe a little bit easier than expected. They didn't stand long for Mississippi State's vaunted defense.
Well, he's got a real team. Cal's got his swagger back. His team's got his swagger back. Big Blue Nation feels good right now.
All right.
3-1 in SEC.
From the Bluegrass to Down Under, for Jimmy Dykes, our fantastic crew, I'm Tom Hart. Now let's get you the 2024 Australian Open.